So, Rotom is a cool Pokemon. It was introduced with a way cool sort of in-game event dungeon thing, and I think we need a lot more of that in Pokemon games. But since then, Rotom has become super important in the Pokemon world. It's your bike, it's your Pokédex, it's a phone, it's a Pokemon job manager, and it's a camera drone. Alright, this sounds weird without context. In case you don't know for some reason, Rotom is a little electric ghost-type Pokemon that is able to possess and control electric devices. It's just like a poltergeist, except it needs batteries. And the best part is that its name is just motor backwards. Oh and gosh, and I just realized that might be really important. We'll see. As of this video, while there are many things we see Rotom possessing, only 6 of them are official Rotom forms that you can use in battle. There is of course the default Rotom, a little electric ghost, but when it possesses something, it loses the ghost typing as it now has a physical body, and it gains a new secondary type based on whatever it is that it possessed. For instance, an oven. Ovens make heat and fire, so it gains the fire type. A freezer? Well, that's easy. It's ice. It can make ice, and then it can use that ice in its ice attacks. Fan Rotom is flying type, and that's fair enough. It blows wind. Flying type attacks are often just wind and air themed. Wash Rotom is a washing machine, assumedly one that was in the middle of washing a load of laundry, because where else would it be getting all of that water from for its attacks? It's not connected to any piping. And then Mow Rotom is sort of the odd one here until you sort of think about it, I guess. It's grass type, the type normally reserved for literal, actual plants. Mow Rotom is made of steel. It's a lawnmower, but I suppose it's a lawnmower with a carrying container filled with the chopped grass bits, so it can spit those out with some wind and do some grass type attacks. So having a bonus to those attacks by matching the type, yeah, that's fair, but I don't like the idea that it has the same strengths and weaknesses that are associated with literally being a plant. But whatever. Some Rotom forms are just not as clear-cut as the others. Now, by the very nature of Rotom's whole design, as well as just how popular it's become as a character in the anime, it has sparked a plethora of fan art, both of official forms and especially as new fan-made forms. And considering that the Fakemon region we've been making on the channel, the Kaskade region, heavily features Rotom as well, I mean, it's the big bad legendary, look at it. Rotom is one of the 2 mascots of the big business organization too, Amazol. So, I figured I should try my hand at the whole a Rotom of every type thing. And that's this video. And hey, real fast, I want to say super thank you for all of the pre-orders of our Tofrug Plush. Tofrug is for sure the Fakemon mascot of the channel, and it's so cute and so square, and so here is an update. They are all made. All of the plushes are made. There is now a finite quantity of them. One problem though, a crane crashed or something, and so they're delayed until September. Haha. It's out of my hands, but I still feel so bad. I'm so sorry. Like, I just found out about it yesterday, and my poor heart. Ugh. Like I still have written here in the script, we are on schedule to launch in August, but that's not true as of like 13 hours ago. I don't have art of me bowing, so here's me bowing very heavily edited. I'm so sorry. But hey, I guess this means now there's more time to pre-order the plush, because all the pre-orders, there's a bonus of the holographic Tofrug card. It will fill you with autumn moods and serotonin every time you look at it. Link below to our merch store, Gnoggin.net. You have more time now, and thanks again, everyone. Now then, when it comes to making new fan-made Rotom forms, there are some things to consider here. For one, there's so much fan art of it already that I made sure not to do any research into fan Rotoms before deciding what I wanted to do as fan Rotoms. That way they don't influence my choices. But of course, just because I exist, I of course have seen several over the years. So if I ultimately come to the same conclusion as another amazing piece of fan work, I'll just show their art off. I mean, there are so many fan concepts for new Rotoms out there that some are incredibly common enough anyway, and we don't really need more art of the same idea. And sometimes the ideas are just that common because it's such a good idea. Anyway, let's start off with a new Rotom I've shown in this series already. Malware-Rotom, Electric Dark Type. This one I commissioned from FkmnOfficial on Twitter, though the rest of my Rotoms are by WescosF, just so you know. Malware-Rotom is a sort of totem Pokemon equivalent, a mini-boss of sorts, and the idea is quite simple. It's an internet server, but one that is hosting sites on the dark web. Criminal stuff. as well as loads of malware, computer viruses that steal people's information, like credit card numbers and identities. Very malicious, which is what the dark type tends to be all about. This is exactly the kind of Rotom that Team Rocket would have. So, it's a special Rotom, sort of one of a kind, but not really. What I really mean by that is that it doesn't really fit into any other Rotom theme. You see, the official Rotom Forms are all appliances you would find at a typical house, which I suppose a real dark web server could be? It could just be in some dude's basement, but is not so traditional. But do all Rotoms need to fit in this theme even years later? Well, no, because we have all these new forms, but we can't use those in battle, so do all of the battle forms need to fit this theme? Well, that may be better, so it will be considered, but I think it'd be cooler to get different sets of Rotom forms. For instance, we have this home appliance set, so why don't we also do a construction, remodeling, cultivation, landscaping, garage set? Let's just call it garage. I guess the lawnmower would be in there too, huh? And also, since we're sort of making these Rotom forms for the Kaskade region project, let's make some themed after handy devices manufactured by Amazol. Things just like that camera drone. Honestly, I don't know why that's not already a battleable form. It's so perfect. If it's a fancy camera, surely it can use flash, and thus be the normal type Rotom form. It's essentially just light manipulation. Well, another idea I played with was a printer that shoots paper at you. That seemed plain and normal enough, but another thing that normal is sort of a stand-in type for is sound. Most sound-based moves are normal type, and so a normal type Rotom could be a sound-based device, like a boombox, which turns out is also a super common idea, hence these pieces of amazing art. I mean, it is a really good idea, so obviously, but for me, I think boomboxes have gone out of style, and Amazol wouldn't make something like that. No, these days we use smart speakers, waterproof Bluetooth speakers, and such. So here's that. Yeah, it's just a fancy cylinder, but so are most of these speakers. It's powerful in its minimalism, so sleek and unique. It screams with ghostly noise. Spooky. Now, one idea that I was super proud of until I found out it was already done really well by another, that being Bearmation, was a fairy-type Rotom that is a Tamagotchi virtual pet toy. I mean, think about it. Most fairy types are pink and caring, loving, sweet, and girly. How do you translate that into an electronic machine of sorts? Well, showing love to a virtual pet is so much that. In fact, parental love and care in a device could also be seen in baby monitors. But those are also just sort of fancy speaker walkie-talkie things, far too similar to our normal type Rotom. So, ooh, brilliant alternative idea. Something that combines the lovey-dovey pink and caring aspect of the fairy type with the more mischievous nature spirit fairy tale aspect of it in a little motorized machine. Let's do a baby mobile. Or is it mobile? I've heard it both ways. Mobiles come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. Some feature animals, some stars, and some are much more whimsical than others or have lights that play music. Now, think about it. A ghost comes and possesses your baby's mobile. It starts spinning a bit out of control and playing eerie music box music. And soon after, your baby is gone. Baby napping is a common enough theme in fairy tales anyway. Heck, it's part of Impidim's origins. It's a little changeling. So yes, a mischievous baby mobile. One that looks super cute. Some clouds, stars, it can make rainbows with its light. It's pink, and it's got a little speaker and an eerie smile. It'd be the smallest Rotom form, which is also perfectly fitting of the fairy type. Plus, baby mobiles have little motors in them, just like all of the official forms, hence Rotom's namesake. Having a motor may not be a huge deal because Rotom Dex exists, but every battle Rotom is something that has a motor, so that may play a role in the decision-making at Game Freak. But maybe not. Now, from the smallest to the biggest, Dragon type. Dragon being the biggest is also fitting. Also, what the heck do you do for Dragon type? Dragons aren't typically machines unless we're talking Mechagodzilla Zord stuff. And we don't want to go in that direction. So I started jotting down some themes that a lot of Dragon types fall into, and Spacey seems to be the most machinable. Plenty of the space legendaries are part Dragon type, as it's a sort of raw magic infinity energy type. And other legendaries like Rayquaza, Latios, and Latios are very upper atmosphere inspired. Dragonite and Salamence also go way high when they fly. So let's do that, upper atmosphere stuff. I could see a weather balloon, since Amazol are researching the weather, but I also like the idea of a low-orbiting satellite that also studies the weather. Plus, simple satellites that do simple things like that are getting smaller and smaller. You can hold on to them now. But let's still go ahead and make this a big satellite, absorbing pure infinity energy from the sun and converting it into raw dragon power. Yeah, that's cool. And Amazol would love to start looking to the stars once they learn about a few of the cosmic Pokemon in various other games. Moving on, for poison type, I really like these ideas, so I wanted to show them off. This one's a fog machine spewing poisonous fog, and this one is a vacuum cleaner, which was my first idea. Plus, it's totally fitting next to the other Rotom Forms. It's a home appliance. Vacuums suck up a lot of gross stuff, and all that dust it can spit back out, and it would make you feel sick and sneezy for sure, like getting attacked by a coughing. Honestly, this is probably the best idea that there is. But there are plenty of other ideas that I could see, like a garbage disposal, the grinder under your sink. They get disgusting, and would just spit up rotten food as an attack, just like Garbodor. But my issue with this idea is that garbage disposals aren't, like, very sightly or obvious in what they do just by looking at it. So let's skip that idea and move on to my next. A derelict vending machine. Amazol was getting into the vending machine business over a decade ago, but then decided to shift their focus a bit. They've collected and disposed of most of their old vending machines, but missed a few, letting the food inside rot and mold fester. And now, a Rotom has gotten into it, and it won't let go because it really likes poisoning Pokemon. How rude. Maybe it could even learn Payday and shoot some coins out. Now, a theme like Garage would sort of make Rock, Ground, and Steel type really easy, hopefully. In the case of Rock type, I can think of nothing better than the already common idea of a jackhammer. Though interestingly, in a lot of the fan art I'm seeing, they make the jackhammer ground type, which I suppose works too, but the main use of a jackhammer is to break up really hard things like asphalt, underground boulders, and bedrock. It can be used to help dig in the dirt, but so can just a shovel. No, I prefer the idea of a rock type jackhammer-rotom. It breaks up the ground to find rocks, breaks those rocks up, and uses those rocks for attacks. Plus, it could also just jack off on the Pokemon. Oh, that's not what I meant. It could go and do what jackhammers do as an attack. And there is a sort of loose argument to be made that it's fitting of rock type. Steel would make a bit more sense because jackhammers are metal, but like it's a jackhammer covered in dirt and stone bits. So there's still an argument for ground too, but rock is in the middle of the two types in hardness. So there. Now, ground. What is a tool that someone, especially someone more well-off or owns a business or something, might have in their garage that is useful for the ground? Well, probably a concrete mixer or a ditch witch, which is a handheld plow. Plus, I mean, look at this. Concrete mixers are already orange even. The argument for a concrete mixer is sound. It's got a bunch of soft mush in it that it puts on the ground to make hard ground. It could trap you in that. In the ground, like those cars that sink in wet cement. And look, it's even holding a ghostly concrete placer spreader thing. It's to stamp it down. The only issue with this idea is making it cute or cool looking. You can't really do that. I suppose it's kind of like Rotom, but for dirt and floor instead of grass. I guess some Rotom has to be the ugliest, and I guess it's also fitting that it's the ground type. Now, Steel. Theoretically, Steel should be easy, considering most Rotom forms are based on something metal already. But really, what is so inherently metal that it exudes the essence of metal more than any of the other forms? Well, probably a pneumatic vending machine or a hydraulic press, but those aren't very well known about or common enough for Rotom to just wander into like it does everything else. So perhaps a big metal drill? Yeah, I see tons of those. But here's an idea. What else is in a garage, and is somewhat more specifically a Pacific Northwest thing? Well, garage rock, garage bands, garage metal, grunge! It got its start here, so here's an electric guitar Rotom. It uses the move metal sound a lot, and smashes into other mon with its metal plating and whips them with its metal guitar strings. Yeah, hardcore! For fighting type, I still cannot get over how much I love the idea of a fighting game arcade cabinet. Just Pokken Tournament arcade cabinet as a Rotom. It's just too good. I mean, it's got that competitive spirit of fighting types already in there. Though, I do suppose it would have to punch you with the ghostly electric energy still, so it's not the perfect idea. But here's a similar take that I love. It's a Switch! Pokemon games already have Nintendo consoles in them, even the Switch, so they do absolutely exist in the Pokemon world. The ghostly electric current connects the Joy-Cons via a spectral Bluetooth connection, and now it actually has a physical thing to punch you with, and it's really, really good at dodging attacks because it's always drifting. Also, this idea is fun. It's an egg beater because it beats things, like a fighting type. But like, these have all been done plenty, and very well too. But I absolutely for sure wanted to add a fighting type to this mix, so how about this idea? A baseball launcher. I mean, I imagine getting smacked by a rapidly pitched baseball is just like getting punched really, really hard. Oh man, the bruises! Okay, still place! Plus it has a spectral bat to beat you with, and the baseball shooty bit looks like a baseball cap. And every anime needs a baseball episode. Pokemon already had one, but they can do more. Now, Bug. What the heck do you do with Bug? I mean, the apparent obvious answer is a Bug Zapper, because there are like 30 different takes on a Bug Zapper Rotom. But like, what else, you know? It fits. Just as Rotom stores grass to attack with, Bug Zappers often have little trays that collect the carcasses of the insects, and the Rotom can just dump that on you, and it's gross. And since you're scared of bugs because you're a psychic type, well, it's a super effective move. Just, oh, gross, scary, gross things that I fear, skeletons. Also, out of all of the Bug Zapper Rotoms, I like the idea of this one the best. The arms are little fly swatters. Spectral fly swat. That's so good! Some other ideas that I've seen for bug type, it was just standard PCs, but with glitches. You know, computer bugs and surfing the web. It's a fun pun, but hardly fitting in actuality. Man, this is tricky though, right? Bug type. I guess I could see those robotic bug toys, a little robot roach. But that's kind of cheating, isn't it? It's like doing a fighting training robot for fighting type, or a robotic dragon for dragon type. Well, bonus points for whomever tells me a really good bug-type Rotom idea down in the comments. I am very picky. So in the meantime, Bug Zapper. That's all there is. And oh, left is psychic, is it? Well, after I looked into it, this is probably the widest spectrum of ideas out of any of the types. I've seen a radio, a boombox, a satellite, a virtual boy, a blender, a UFO, a smartphone, and more. I guess a psychic device is kinda weird. My first idea was a little incense diffuser, but ultimately I figured that isn't quite motorized enough. But I mean, the ideas sound, you know, essential oils, open your mind and spirit, which renders you more susceptible to psychic attacks, I guess. So ultimately, I went with a retro television. A 1980s TV playing a hypnotizing swirl like the intro to The Twilight Zone. I mean, think about how many people fall asleep watching TV. Think about how the media controls the minds of the people already with their 24/7 news cycle and advertisements. The whole goal is to change people's minds to fit their agenda. Yeah, TVs are basically already psychic type. Don't pay attention to the corruption or your real enemy, the trillionaires. Oh no, it's clearly the more melanin and rainbow people. They are your enemy. Be a free thinker and believe everything we say, just as Tom Bezel would want. So yeah, psychic type Rotom. It's a TV. We decided on an older TV to give it more depth. It's quite literal though, and not at all figuratively. So which of these are your favorite? Let me know down below, and check out Gnoggin.net to get a Tofrug plushie before they all sell out, because now there's more time for them to sell out. And until next time, never stop using your noggin.